For RCR Wireless News, I'm Sean Kinney here with Rajesh Mishra, the president, founder, and CTO of Parallel Wireless. Rajesh, thank you for inviting us to meet with you here at Mobile World Congress. I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about Parallel's approach to bringing small cell connectivity into rural areas. It's been a big challenge for a lot of companies, and I'm wondering, how does Parallel approach that problem?
Hey Sean, thank you for having me, and it's great to meet you and RCR team here at Mobile World Congress. Yeah, we have a very unique approach to rural solutions. As you know, the rural market shares a very challenging environment. Part of it comes from ARPU, part of it comes from infrastructure, part of it comes from lack of backhaul, and everything else combined, right? So Parallel Wireless solution uniquely solves those challenges with total solution, total cost ownership based approaches.
So Rajesh, how do you bring that same approach that Parallel Wireless uses in a rural scenario into a denser urban environment?
So rural situations are different than the dense urban situations because the end users expects the same results. They still like the high-speed internet connectivity, whether to watch the YouTube video or stream the Netflix or doing the Facebook or the emails. So the use cases don't change. So they're not getting a less of a 4G or a less of a 3G. The challenge in the rural community is because the existing solutions are so expensive, because either the lack of backhaul or the lack of power or the tower-based infrastructure. So what Parallel Wireless solution does is, with a total solution-based approach, we simplify that by either the meshing backhaul, the in-band backhaul, and really with the very efficient base station that can do 3G, 4G at the same time with the most efficient power consumption and shape and size of the base station. So all these things combined with a headnet gateway based architecture, which makes auto deployment easy to deploy by technicians simple. That's what's really helping and making it in the rural. When you go to the dense urban scenarios, the technology stays the same. It's just maybe you're getting a more capable backhaul, you're getting more egress points, whether they are fiber or microwaves available. Then mesh becomes a resilient layer on top of it. So in case the fiber gets cut, you can use the mesh technology, or you can use the mesh technology further to do a east-west movement of your cache data, right? So content cache takes another meaning when you have a free flow of the backhaul. So there are various different ways where the same technology, when moved to the dense urban situation or urban situations, you're just using them differently. You're leveraging more and more of a capable backhaul. You're deploying them, let's call it, more often to get more reusability of the small cells.
Okay, and Rajesh, I think this really speaks to one of these macro trends that we see if we pull the lens way back, and that's bringing connectivity to previously unconnected places. What are some of the other innovations that Parallel is using to address that?
Yeah. So, when you try to go to those places and see what they are, lacking, it's really, you really feel bad. And personally, I always tell a story. When we started deploying in UK, we got an email from a mother. She said that her daughter needs to download the homework, and she drives her 30 minutes to a local library to download the homework, and she was requesting if we could provide the coverage there. Those are the stories. They always sort of touch us. And this is again the countries like US, UK, these are European countries, or the other part of the world like Asia, Africa. Those are people more relate to. But even US, a lot of US is rural, and the part where we are, our offices are, if you go another half an hour up north, the coverage is a completely different story. So what we try to do is we try to see what we can leverage. So with our solution-based approach, we are trying to take advantage of the buildings, the rooftops, or the towers, what's available. The backhaul-wise, we'll take advantage of the satellites, the DSLs, and we'll use our meshing to stitch them together and make a cluster-based mesh approach where all these backhauls come together. So, let's say your DSL was just 5 Mbps and it's not good enough. But if you have 10 of them mesh cluster, now you're talking a reasonable amount of egress available for a cluster of small cells providing 3G, 4G coverage to provide reasonable data throughput in and out. So those are type of the approaches we do where we try to simplify. And as you know, our base station, as you saw, our base stations are really small. So that makes it really easy to deploy on the side of the wall of some home or churches or rooftops. So that again makes it simple. You're not really always putting up big towers and deploying them by going through all the expensive process of getting permissions and arguing with the neighbors that why this big tower is in their backyard, right? So those type of challenges also get simplified because we take advantage of all the real estate available there. So that's part of how we do it.
Yeah, the story you shared, that's very compelling, and unfortunately I think that's a lot more common than people really appreciate.
Yeah.
And so I want to reiterate the point you made there about the ease of deployment for your solution. As you said, I had a chance to check out the equipment and I was easily able to lift it.
Yeah.
And when we think about small cells, this is incredibly important because to achieve scale with a small scale deployment, you need to have a very easy, repeatable process. So can you tell me a little bit about the R&D work that went into arriving at your final product?
Oh yeah, so we actually one thing I was sharing with your colleagues, right? So RCR Wireless was the first one who publicly announced us because we were we were just heads down doing the research and development and trying to solve this problem, right? So we've been at it for some time, and as we go to different communities, we learn about different problems where there are power situations where they really want the solar power solutions, or they are satellite based and they are trying to do how to do a voice offload, for example, or they want to do the data. So we are the in-band backhaul, and sometimes the backhauls could be taking the local businesses DSL lines or the fiber or broadband they have and take advantage of those. So we've been innovating and trying to bring and blend all these type of backhauls together, and also innovating on the software and automation side so that these deployments become really simple. So for example, where we are trying to get to is if a local TV antenna installer can install a TV antenna because they know how to climb the roof and put the antenna, point the antenna, we want them to be able to install our small cells. They're not RF engineers, so they don't know what's the propagation, what's the interference. We take care of all that automation with our software. So those are kind of automations and intelligence we are adding into our software, continuing to learn and add more and more capabilities to make it really simple. We have a tagline which we haven't changed for a last several years, almost since when we started. Make it as easy to deploy as Wi-Fi, and we really truly mean it. When you install Wi-Fi at your home, you did not call some RF engineers to come and do a site survey. You just installed, and for the most part, it just works well. And that's where we want to get to with the small cells. No matter what shape and size or power output, whether you're doing an in-building, enterprise, or outdoor, high power or low power, we want them to be as easy to install as Wi-Fi. So you're not spending a lot of cycles getting the approvals from the towns because they're small and they go under the limits of the radiation, so the town is not worried about it. And also they're simple to install, so you're not hiring the most expensive team to install those things, because a lot of times the cost is not the radio, actually it's everything else but the radio. That's where the majority of the costs are. So as you simplify these things, you make them really affordable for communities to install and make it happen. So we are trying to simplify, make it more power efficient, make it small, and software automation. So that's really it's all about. If you look back, it's really simple. When you are into it, it looks like never-ending process. So it's always, but at the end, when it's simple, that means you did something, and that's what we feel.
Yeah, that is a huge benefit from an operator perspective, to be able to realize those workforce efficiencies throughout the deployment cycle. And I'm really glad to catch back up with you and see how Parallel is bringing innovation into the small cell space.
Great, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Rajesh.